Hey guys, it's Raja and John here from Cult of Joshi, and we are here to bring you the 2025 WrestleMania Week Guide to all things women's wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Because what's more important on WrestleMania week than getting in all of the women's wrestling you could possibly watch?
Well, let me think for a second. Is this a quiz? I don't.
No. There's no right answer to that. There's nothing more important than watching it.
Of course. There's nothing more important than watching women's wrestling. I got you. Unless you're playing like Schedule 1.
Well, then you can take breaks from the women's wrestling. But there is so much happening that we just did not want anyone to miss any of the matches that they want to see. So we wanted to bring you this guide, and it is chock full of goodness.
Absolutely. I wonder if the women from overseas are going to make more because of it. Like, is there a tariff rule on that? Or
maybe.
All right.
We'll see.
Let's get to it.
Before I start, I want to give the disclaimer that all the times I will mention are in the Eastern Standard Time, which is where we live, so that's the easiest for me.
Wait a second.
Make sure you adjust.
If you're listening to our show, then you already are probably well attuned to being able to,
take a time and be like, oh, this is when it is in my time.
I think right now I see something in Tokyo, I instantly get that New York time, right?
Yeah, I can instantly convert it now.
It's funny. The things that pro wrestling has taught us.
Yes, it's like education.
Yes.
So let's jump in. Starting on Wednesday, April 16th, it all kicks off at 7 p.m. GCW will hold the first opening round of the ID Championship Tournament.
Also known as the very contentious Cup.
This will be streaming on Triller Plus, so if you have Triller Plus, you're good to go. And it features 2 women's matches, Zara Zakar versus Izzy Moreno, and Zeta Steele versus Kylie Ray.
Cool to see Zeta.
Yeah,
doing something
Zeta out here.
Yeah, over here, and Izzy Moreno.
Yes, it's very exciting to see her getting ahead in her career in this tournament.
Yeah.
Following that at 8 p.m., AEW Dynamite Spring Breakthrough, history-making event of its own.
Bruh.
Will be on...
It looks like it's like the card of the week.
Yeah, it'll be on TBS and streaming on Max, of course. And they do have one women's match announced for Dynamite.
Hold on.
The semifinal match in the Owen, Athena versus Mercedes Moné.
Man, we've been waiting on this one.
What a match to just have on Dynamite, honestly.
Oh, we've been wanting this one for a long time.
We really have. And there's a good chance there'll be more women's action on Dynamite. It just hasn't been announced yet, so keep an eye out for that.
I hope it gets time. I hope it gets like 20 minutes to really...
I know. It's gotta give it time to breathe.
Both these ladies seem to do a lot better with time. Than, the 5-minute
they're
kerfluffle.
good at telling stories as they get more time.
So
the final event on Wednesday is at 11 p.m. It is Dragongate, the Rebirth 2025. This is also on Triller Plus, and it will feature...
Also known as Fight for you older kids.
Yes, Triller is Fight, if you still call it Fight.
Right.
This will feature the women's match of Azumi and Starlight Kid versus Konami and Natsuko Tora.
Yes.
It's a little Stardom action on the Dragongate show.
And if you're new to Stardom, it is not AZM.
No, it's Azumi.
Azumi. Bless you.
Yes, and Azumi and Starlight Kid, of course, they are regular teammates now in Neo Genesis, taking on Hate. So that'll be a lot of fun.
It'll be great.
Then we shift over to Thursday, April 17th. Starting at 2 p.m., Defy has a show, Living Proof. This is on Triller Plus as it's part of the Collective.
But Vixen.
If you've never watched wrestling during WrestleMania week, the Collective is a huge bunch of indie shows
that we used to pay $1,400 for.
Yes, but now that they're on Triller Plus, you pay the $7.99 a month.
Sorry.
Not 14. That's the other one.
Yeah.
$7.99 a month, and you get all these shows.
Right.
It's amazing. So on this card, they do have one women's match announced. They will have Vert Vixen, Amira, and Viva Van versus Nicole Matthews, Rio, and Liza Hall.
Man, that's actually a really good match.
Fun 6-man, yeah.
It really is. And Vert Vixen, I don't know how. Vert Vixen is on my weird list of...
It's like, we really like to see her.
Of how have they not got signed?
I know. She's so good.
Yeah, I mean, she is amazing.
She's kind of littered throughout this week, too. I love to see her name come up over and over.
That's the fun part, right? So all of you watching WrestleMania week, it's one of the fun things, especially if you do this, especially if you watch all the indie shows and all the big shows. And you end up seeing, like, through an indie show, every year there's a breakout. Every year there's a breakout person. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's somebody you've never heard of. It could be somebody on the mend. It could be somebody who'd been let go from somewhere and they're making their rebirth.
Yeah.
You know, or it could be somebody's completely unknown and this is their time to shine.
It's amazing to see the things that can happen on WrestleMania week. I still think back 2 years ago to Mike Bailey versus Bandito and like relive that glory of that match.
It's just unbelievable.
The next thing on Thursday at 3 p.m. will be Stardom American Dream. This will be streaming on Triller.
American Dream.
This show is on Triller, but it is not on Triller Plus, so you do have to pay extra for it. You can get each of the Stardom shows separately for $20 or get the bundle for $25 of both shows.
And it's totally worth it.
Totally worth it. So they announced the full card for this Stardom show. We will have...
Tell it to us.
Starlight Kid and Maserati versus Azumi and Ram Kai Chao.
Oh, God.
Which is just a fun match.
Oh, Ram.
Suzu Suzuki teaming with Jody Threat to face Unagi Sayaka and Erica.
Yes, that's going to be interesting, man. If Jody Threat and Suzu, that
kind of just makes sense.
Yeah, that seems like you took those off the same leaf.
Yeah. Hanan and Saida Wingori versus Hazuki and Kelsey Heather.
Oh, my God.
A good, some more Han and Hazuki there.
Yeah.
Which we're going to talk about on our normal episode if you want to listen.
If you want to listen, you're going to go over there and listen to it.
Mina Shirakawa and Hanako versus Natsukatora and Momo Watanabe. Finally, we get to see Momo again.
Yes.
After so long.
Finally. Hope she has her bat with her and... takes out some Hanako aggression.
Yes. Shiri teaming with Viperist to go against Konami and Kallian Tita.
Easy for you to say.
Yes. And then Micah versus Tekla in a special singles match that they set up in Corkin Hall.
Yes. I'm sure it'll be clean.
So a fun card. It's like Stardom meets America. They've got a lot of really cool guests in there.
Yeah, and they'll have a good time. Obviously, last year we had some incredible matches.
Yeah, we saw a title change and everything.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, so they're going to pull out some stops here.
Absolutely. At the same time, at 3 p.m. on Thursday, is the Mark Hitchcock Memorial Super Show. This will be streaming on highspots.tv if you'd like to watch it. And the women's match announced for this show is Mickie James versus Maki Ito.
So if I was Maki Ito on this, I would come out in a thong. I would come out
full ass
with so much ass showing. What is Mickie James smoking?
I don't know.
Listen, this is the lady who, come on. If you're going to complain about stuff like that.
Yeah, I want to say she did it in good faith, but it just didn't come off right the way she went about it.
Yeah, man.
It felt very shamey.
Right. Yeah. Shamey.
We don't shame in women's wrestling.
No.
Then at 6 p.m., West Coast Pro has Vegas Vacation also on highspots.tv, and they are holding a women's championship match between Johnny Robbie and Great Sakuya.
If you have not seen the Great Sakuya, you want to make sure No, you don't want to make sure she do you. I was trying to rhyme it.
You just want to make sure you do see the Great Sakuya because she's amazing.
Yeah, so
in both of her
she's
forms.
True, yeah.
In all of her iterations.
She's amazing in any iteration.
Yes. Then we have at 8 p.m. Spark Joshi Lady Luck, and this will be on Triller, paid for separately for $20, but also worth it because Joshi.
Yes.
We're biased here about Joshi.
We're a little biased.
And they have announced a nice little card for this one. Maya World and Nightshade versus Aja Kong and Kyoko Inoue.
So much talent in that match.
They're so good.
My God, legends. Just throw your money at the legends.
Yes. Jada Stone teaming with Starlight Kid to take on Zoe Lucas and Shiri.
Yes. Oh my God. That's actually a really cool match too.
Yeah. And then 3 championship matches. Pacific Championship match between Vert Vixen and Ram Kai Chao.
That's my match.
Atlantic Championship match between Saki and Danny Moe.
Ah.
And for the vacant World Championship, Hazuki versus Lena Cross.
Yeah, interesting stuff.
That's going to be a hard-hitting match.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It sounds like a great card and, fresh stuff. So even if you are a Stardom fan from way back, you're going to see some fresh matchups.
A lot of stuff you don't usually see.
Mm-hmm.
Then at 8 p.m. as well, we have Collision Spring Breakthrough on this Thursday night, special night, streaming on TNT and Max, but they haven't announced any matches yet, obviously, because it hasn't. Like, there's been no Dynamite.
Chance there's going to be some
there's definitely going to be women's
female
wrestling.
Rap action.
Yes, there will be. I'm guessing maybe Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander will have their semifinal match on Collision, so that'll be fun.
We shall see.
Then the final event for Thursday night is at 11 p.m. and it is Bloodsport 13. It's streaming on Triller Plus and it boasts 4 women's matches this year.
Yeah.
Some cool ones too, including Shayna Baszler versus Konami, Layla Hirsch versus Jordan Blade, Natty Neidhart versus Miyu Yamashita, and Carmen Petrovic versus Micah.
Yeah, and it's very interesting here for like Layla Hirsch, who's trying to, make a name for herself outside of AEW now that she's gone.
Yeah.
And, so it'll be interesting to see how she does there.
It will be, and it's just cool to see all these girls getting in on Bloodsport. I think it's really awesome that they want to show that side of themselves.
Well, I mean, we all know who the real vicious people are in the world as far as wrestling goes. The most vicious wrestling I've ever seen involved females.
Yes, absolutely. So that brings us to Friday, April 18th. Starting at 2 a.m., so kind of like Thursday night, but it is technically Friday. We have Marvelous.
Kind of like sleep deprivation.
Yes. Marvelous is holding their show. It will be streaming on highspots.tv. And they have announced Nyla Rose versus Sora Ayame, which is one of their young girls, one of their rookies.
Yes.
That's up and coming. Johnny Robbie and Takumi Iroha versus Zara Zakur and Shiri.
Damn, what possibilities we have in that one.
You get Shiri and Takumi in there together, and I'm sold already.
Yes.
Sadie Gibbs, Riko Kawahata, and Maria, so Magenta in that match, versus Sandra Moon, Unagi Sayaka, and Nightshade.
Yes.
And then I put this one last, even though it has a rookie in it, because clearly I'm excited about it.
Oh my God.
Aja Kong versus Senka Akatsuki.
Oh my God.
Oh, Senka versus Aja is just a wonder.
If you haven't listened to our previous episodes, darling, you're going to go back and listen to the last couple.
Yeah.
And that'll tell you all your Senka needs.
Yes.
So if you think Senka is just a good cup of instant coffee, you are mistaken. Senka is a good cup of instant Joshi because
she's so good.
Somebody poured the hot water on this mixture and it made something spicy.
She's amazing. Okay. Then at 3 a.m., Progress Chapter 179, streaming on Triller Plus. They have a women's championship match between Nina Samuels, Vert Vixen, and Rio in a triple threat.
So how are they still in the 100s?
I don't know. Maybe they slowed down a bit.
It feels like Progress hasn't made much progress.
They just took a little break ski, I guess.
I think I would just make sure people are paying attention and put like 279.
Yeah. just kind of skip a few. See
What's
if anyone
the matter,
notices.
Fred? Did you miss one?
We're definitely on 185. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings an end to the Thursday night, and we get like a gap where you can sleep between 3 a.m. and 2 p.m. the next day.
Yes.
On Friday. So 2 p.m. on Friday, we have TJPW live in Las Vegas.
Live.
Streaming on Triller Plus, and they are pulling out all the stops for this Tokyo Joshi show. We have Yuki Arai versus Ariso Indo. Shino Suzuki, Vert Vixen, and Rika Tatsumi versus Raku, Viva Van, and Yuki Aino.
So yeah, you know what? Vert Vixen really is. She's
everywhere.
She's the breakout, isn't she?
Zara Zakar and Maki Ito versus Palm Harajuku and Max the Impaler. Masha Slamovich versus Miyu Watanabe, one-on-one.
Yeah, that's a match.
My goodness. For the International Princess Championship, Suzume versus Jada Stone.
Suzume.
For the Princess Tag Team Championships, Shoko Nakajima and Hyper Misao versus Yuki Kamafuku and Wakana Uehara.
Uehara, who recently broke the internet.
Yes. Good job, Wakana. And for the Princess of Princess Championship, Mizuki versus Miyu Yamashita, which is like one of the biggest title matches they could possibly do. And they're doing it over here in Vegas.
And to find out what Uehara did to break that internet, join our other show.
Yes, join our other show. We will be talking about it. After Tokyo Joshi, we have the second Stardom American Dream show at 3 p.m. on Friday. It is yet again paid, like I mentioned, and you can get the bundle, get both shows. On this second day of Stardom, we will have Mina Shirakawa and Rachel Rose versus Hazuki and Suzu Suzuki.
hard-hitting match.
I find it very interesting that Hazuki and Suzu are teaming in this match. I won't say why, but I do.
Yes.
Shuri versus Kelsey Heather. Hanan and Saida and the DKC in a little mixed tag match versus Natsuka Tora, Tekla, and Clark Connors.
Oh, yeah. Very cool.
Starlight Kid and Maya World versus Azumi and Johnny Robbie.
Love seeing Maya World in here.
Oh, it's so cool. And Maika, Hanako, and Megan Bain versus Momo Watanabe, Konami, and Kallian Tita.
Nice to have the Megasis back in Stardom.
I love having Maika and Megan back together.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy.
It's amazing.
So after that, there is a 6 p.m. DDT Goes Las Vegas show streaming on Triller Plus. I didn't see any women's matches announced for that DDT show, but I did want to mention it because it's part of the collective.
You just never know.
You never know. Then at 7 p.m., Deadlock Pro Wrestling Title Fight in Vegas will be streaming on their own independent streaming platform, dpwondemand.com. And they have a couple of women's matches on there. Masha Slamovich and Queen Aminata teaming up to go against Maria and Riko Kawahata, Magenta. And for the Women's Championship, Dani Luna versus Takumi Iroha.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
It really is.
After that, at 10 p.m., we have Joey Janela's Spring Break.
Yeah, that's the staple of WrestleMania week.
Yes, streaming
the
live.
debauchery itself.
On Triller Plus, and there are 2 women's matches announced for Spring Break. Megan Bain versus Bozilla.
What a match this is.
Monster kaiju battle.
Yeah.
That it is.
It's Godzilla and Mothra.
And for the JCW World Championship, Masha Slamovich.
Probably Godzilla and Kong. Really.
Yes. Masha Slamovich defending against Suzu Suzuki.
Again.
Just death.
Just grumpy face battle right there.
Following that at 11 p.m., Dragongate is holding their second show, The Gate of Revolution, streaming on Triller Plus, and they have announced Saida and Hanan versus Hyen and Charisma. So Wingori action on Dragongate. And then at 11:30 p.m. to round up Friday, Future Stars of Wrestling, FSW, is also presenting an opening round of the ID Championship Tournament, but the only women's match on this one, streaming on Triller Plus, is a non-tournament match where Brittany Brooks and Zara Zakar are taking on Maserati and Zeta Steel.
Awesome.
So that brings us to Saturday, April 19th.
This is finger-sucking territory.
Thursday and Friday are the heavy hitters, so we're getting into the weekend where WrestleMania happens, so there's not as many indie shows.
Yeah, you're tearing up here.
Yes. So at 3 a.m. on Saturday, the Heels Have Eyes for the Culture will be going down on Triller Plus, and they have announced Tiara James versus Maya World for that show. Then at 1 p.m., a little break there after that one, NXT Stand and Deliver, streaming on Peacock. Of course, Stand and Deliver being the perennial WrestleMania weekend NXT show. They will be having a Women's North American Ladder Match Qualifier. It's a mouthful. And for the Women's Championship, we will see Stephanie Vicure versus Julia versus Jordan Grace versus Jada Parker.
Right.
So, some cool NXT women's action going on. Then at 2 p.m., Effy's Big Gay Brunch will be on Triller Plus. We will see Abaddon versus Sunny Kiss, Sandra Moon and Brooke Havoc versus Vipress versus Anton Voorhees versus Jamie Senegal versus Jai Vidal. Then Perot versus Max the Impaler versus Zico versus Brick Savage. Zack Sabre Jr. will be taking on Kid Bandit. And for the GCW World Championship, Effy is defending against Dark Sheik.
There you go.
So some really cool stuff going on Big Gay Brunch. At 5 p.m., GCW versus TJPW versus DDT is going on. And on this, we have some fun women inclusion matches because there's a lot of mixed tags going on here. This is also on Triller Plus. So Dark Sheik, Illusion, and Daisuke Sasaki will take on Shoko Nakajima, Marcus Mathers, and Super Crazy.
This match is super crazy.
Antonio Honda and Rika Tatsumi versus Shota and Kid Bandit. And Masha Slamovich and Konosuke Takeshita, which is just a team that rings so many bells for me, versus Shinya Aoki and Miyu Yamashita.
Wow.
So that should be a fun triple promotional show.
Yes.
Then at 7 p.m., of course, we have...
Oh, that little show.
WrestleMania Night 1 streaming on Peacock.
You might miss that one.
And the night one women's matches are Jade Cargill versus Naomi in their little grudge match. And for the WWE Women's Championship, Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair.
I'm sure that one will be just...
There won't be any bad blood there on either of those matches. No bad blood,
just straight up. It could be a pure match.
Yeah, it would be great. Then we come to Sunday, April 20th. This is the final night of WrestleMania week. Starting at 2 a.m., Joey Janela's Spring Break, Clusterfuck Forever, streaming on Triller Plus. The women announced for the Clusterfuck are Kid Bandit, Zeta Steel, Brooke Havoc, Tara Zepp, Unagi Sayaka, Viva Van, Brittany Brooks, and Megan Bain.
And you don't always know everything you're going to see because it is a Clusterfuck. So
yes, so there could be surprises. There probably will be surprises. Yes. Then at 3:30 p.m., FSW is holding a women's tournament live on Triller Plus. That tournament will see Maggie Lee versus Jasmine Allure, Carolina Cruz versus Zeta Steel versus Zamaya, Kaya Dream versus Brittany Brooks, and Maya World versus Brooke Havoc versus Jada Stone.
There you go.
And you got to imagine it'll be a one-night tournament, so they'll probably have the rest of it there on the same show. 7 p.m. brings us to the final event of the week, WrestleMania Night 2, live on Peacock. For the Women's Tag Team Championships, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are defending against Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. And for the Women's World Championship, Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair.
There you go.
My goodness, the women's wrestling.
Great way to end it. And
my goodness, yes, it's going to be crazy. There's going to be a lot to watch. So make sure you refer back to this. If you would like a handy little graphic to remind you of all of these matches.
How would they get that, Raja?
You can go to @CultofJoshi on X and find our pinned post where you will find some graphics to help you keep track of all the women's wrestling that's happening.
There you go. And we might post that a few places for you.
Yes.
And if you want to watch these streaming services, you can get Triller Plus for $7.99 on your subscription, and it's well worth it. You can get hotspots.tv, $14.99, and DP One Demand.
DPWOnDemand.com for $14.99 as well, just like
that's
Hotspots.
Like that one event. So
yes, for that one event, if you would like it. But that's all we have for this guide to women's wrestling on WrestleMania Week 2025. We will see you out there in the trenches, my friends.
Keep us in your thoughts and prayers.
Yes, and make sure you keep up with us on Cult of Joshi because we're going to be reviewing so many things. So I'm Raja. He's John. We'll see you later.
Bye.